Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing yet another NBA mock draft. Now there has been a change inside the top 5 in terms of draft order. However, there has not been a change in terms of which prospects go off the board at which point. Also, revamped my big board a little bit, so we're going to be looking at all that and more in today's video, including a full lottery mock draft. So make sure you stick around till the end of the video, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below if you disagree with one of the picks that I make, especially for your favorite team if you have some insight that I don't. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Looking at the Detroit Pistons, who completely tanked this year, and they get rewarded. Now, I did not sim the lottery. Of course, we will get a much better picture of where things will go on May 16th when the lottery happens, but right now we got Victor Wembenyama going first overall to the Detroit Pistons, the greatest prospect we've ever seen. He's just insane, an unreal blend of scoring, defense, offense, whatever you want, this man can do it, and he's 7'5". He'll be one of the tallest, if not the tallest player in the NBA when he enters next year. We've quite literally never seen a player like him, and I like the fit to the Pistons. You've got Cade Cunningham already. I would like the fit to the Hornets as they've already got LaMelo Ball, but I don't want him to go to a team like the Spurs or the Rockets that don't have playmakers. We've already seen Jalen Green be vocal. The Rockets need a point guard this year, so we'll see if they address that later in today's video. At the number 2 overall pick, we have the San Antonio Spurs going out and selecting Scoot Henderson. In most other drafts, Scoot would be the number 1 guy. The dude is an absolute monster, but he is by far the number 2 player in the class. The big question mark about the top 3 is if there is a bigger gap between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. Scoot and Victor Wembenyama have really distanced themselves. Scoot's an absolute franchise point guard, and I am willing to die on that hill. He is a fantastic player, second best player in the class. He's going to go right in to San Antonio. He's going to, the end of the Greg Popovich era, but now they'll have Scoot. They'll have Trey Jones coming off the bench. They'll have Vassell. They'll have Keldon Johnson. They'll have, well, they traded Jakob Poeltl, but they'll have Malachi Branham. A lot of guys in San Antonio that they could turn into something. Now with number 3, we have the Houston Rockets, and they're going to be getting their franchise point guard, which means that, yes, Brandon Miller has slipped down out of the top 3. Amin Thompson, an insane athlete, great length at 6'7", about 200 pounds, and the dude is just an absolute freak of nature. I mean, I've never quite seen a guy like this, so athletic. He's the perfect franchise point guard. Great defender. The three-point shot needs some work. His twin is a little bit better of a three-point shot than he does, but I mean, overall, he just projects out as a fantastic prospect. Going to the Rockets, like we said, the Rockets need a point guard, so they're going to get him there. Now, with the 4th overall pick, we have my Charlotte Hornets, and I'm going to have them go out and get Brandon Miller. The second best shooter in this class, only behind Grady Dick. And yes, I get it, he has legal trouble. He'd fit right in with the Hornets and Miles Bridges. But this dude is just an absolute pure scorer. We've seen it at Bama. Not worried about him in the NCAA tournament. Freshmen usually don't do very well there. But overall, I would love to see him in Charlotte because you have not only Brandon Miller, but hopefully Miles Bridges is back. You have Mark Williams as your center of the future. PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre hopefully are back. And then you've also got Mark Williams at center. I would love it. Now, with the 5th overall pick, this is what we were talking about. We have the Portland Trailblazers in the lottery, in the top 5. And I have the Portland Trailblazers going out and getting Azur Thompson, the twin of Amin. More of a 2-guard, though. Same length, same crazy athleticism that I would love to see in Portland. You play Shadon Sharpe and Azur Thompson on the court at the same time. That's insane. There are some potential for some highlight dunks. So you got those two with Anthony Simons, whoever's down low. I mean, they got Jeremy Grant. They'll still have Dame technically. I don't know how much longer for, however. But Azur Thompson going to the Blazers. Now at number 6, we have the Orlando Magic, and from everything that I've seen, the Magic really want Grady Dick, and there's not a very high likelihood that he stays on the board until that 12th overall pick via Chicago. So I'm going to have the Magic go ahead and take a shot at him here with the number 6 overall pick. I think he's got NBA rotation player written all over him, listed at 6'7", I think he's closer to 6'8 or 6'9 and can really, really shoot the ball. 14-5 this year at Kansas on good efficiency as probably the second or third option offensively. So very good numbers there from Grady Dick. Very high catch and shoot three-point percentage, ranked very high in the percentiles there. So Grady Dick is going to the Orlando Magic. Now here at 7, we have the Washington Wizards, and I'm going to have them pick up my 7th overall player on the board because I feel like they need a franchise point guard in a bad way. I mean, they got Bradley Beal, they got their last year's top 10 overall pick, Johnny Davis, Denny Osvita, Corey Kispert, Kuzma, Kristaps. This team's not really going anywhere fast. They could use a center. There's not a center on the board here, and they could use a point guard. So Kason Wallace is going to be the pick here for the Magic with the 7th overall pick. Franchise point guard, maybe he can grow and develop alongside Johnny Davis, but there's not a lot going on right now in Washington. Now with the 8th overall pick, we have the Indiana Pacers, and I'm going to have them go out and get the best player on the board in Jarace Walker. They could use some front court depth, some wing depth. I mean, they got Naismith, they got Ben Mathurin, who's more of a 2 in my opinion, same thing with Duarte, and then Jordan Nora at the 3, and then at the 4 is Jalen Smith, and that's about it. So they could really use Jarace Walker to add some beef to that front court at 6'7", 235. Although I feel like, again, he's a little underlisted right here. As a matter of fact, if you look him up on Google, what's he listed at? Yeah, so listed at 6'8", 240 on Google. They got him listed a little under that here on Fanspo, but yeah, that'd be a big pickup there for the Indiana Pacers. Now, with the 9th overall pick, we have the Utah Jazz back on the clock, or on the clock for the first time, and they're going to be getting Cam Whitmore. That other pick actually ended up falling out of the lottery, which kind of stinks, but they're going to go out here and get their franchise 2 guard for the future, either Cam Whitmore or Jordan Hawkins, and I have Cam Whitmore just a tier above Jordan Hawkins right now. They don't really have a point guard. I mean, Colin Sexton, I guess, can play the 1. Ochai is more of a 3. So you got Taylor Horton-Tucker, Jordan Clarkson, who's on the way out at the 2. And I think that's what Cam Whitmore is going to come in and play. 6'7", 235. So maybe he plays a 3, but I see him as more of a 2 in the NBA. He's got some really, really good, tough shot-making ability. So I think that's going to fit in well there in Utah. They are in need of a franchise guy alongside Walker Kessler. Now, at 10, we have the Dallas Mavericks. And with Christian Wood on the way out, this feels like kind of an obvious pick, although I would like the Mavericks to trade back. I did that in the last video, and people were flaming me down in the comments below. I'd love to take Jordan Hawkins here, but from what I've heard, kind of like with the Magic fans, they want Grady Dick. The Mavericks fans, they really want Taylor Hendricks. So we're going to have him, Christian Wood, not expected to be brought back by the Dallas Mavericks this offseason. So Taylor Hendricks, 6'9", 210, freshman out of UCF, is going to be the pick here for the Mavericks at 10. Very athletic wing. Still looks a little bit uncoordinated out there at times on film, but he grew and developed as the season went on. So I think he's going to be a nice piece there for Dallas if they can grow and develop him into the starting power forward caliber player that he could be. Now at number 11, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder here, and I think I'm going to have him go and get another wing in Maxwell Lewis. As much as I would like to take Jordan Hawkins here, he's going to continue to fall. They're going to go out and get Maxwell Lewis, who's going to be a really good 3-and-D wing. If, like somebody said on Instagram, if you flipped, or maybe it was Twitter, if you flipped his first half of the season and second half of the season, he'd probably be a top 10 pick with all the steam he was gaining there towards the end. 6'7", really long, really athletic, can really defend out of Pepperdine, and he's only a year older than all these other guys and the same age as Jordan Hawkins. So although Hawkins can shoot it, they have Isaiah Joe, so I'm going to have him go with a guy that can play the 3, and maybe he plays in front of Dieng next year. They got Aaron Wiggins, Jalen Williams, but another West Coast Conference guy here in Maxwell Lewis going to the OKC Thunder. And again, he averaged 17 and 6 on good efficiency. It's not like he had a bad year or anything. He's going to be going there at 11 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now at 12, we have the Orlando Magic. They really needed shooting coming into this draft, and if this pans out the way I'm mocking it right now, Jordan Hawkins to the Orlando Magic would be perfect. You bring in Grady Dick and Jordan Hawkins, that fills your two biggest needs, which are guys that can shoot the ball from the shooting guard position, and that's just perfect. A match made in heaven. Jordan Hawkins averaged 16 a game, 4 rebounds on decent efficiency while leading UConn to the national championship. That's going to be a nice pickup there. Now, the Raptors have a lottery pick, so you look at the board here, and there's one guy that kind of pops off the screen to me as a Raptors type guy, and that's going to be Jet Howard at 6'8", a guy that can play the wing, can come in. If Gary Trent Jr. decides to leave, maybe they develop him more of a 2. If not, they'll develop him as a 3 behind OG Anunoby, and he'll be the guy coming off the bench that can absolutely fill it up. That's one thing that this Raptors team needs is wing and guard depth, which they really don't have any of right now, especially with Fred VanVleet potentially being on the way out. They've really had to run this starting 5 into the ground the last couple of years, so that's who we're going to go out and get for the Raptors. They just need, as much depth as they can get in this year's offseason. 14-3 a game, as well as 2 assists at Michigan. Now, with the final pick of the lottery, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. Dyson potentially developing into that point guard of the future. If Zion can't stay healthy, they're going to have to find a guy that can. Personally, I'm honestly not the biggest fan of Anthony Black. Maybe that's an L take on my part, but I'm going to have them go out and get Jalen Hood-Schifino here out of Indiana. You could go Anthony Black here as well. I just like Hood-Schifino a little bit better. He came on throughout the year and was much better. I know he had Trace Jackson-Davis on his team, but he only averaged 13.5 points, but 4 assists, 4 rebounds. And again, he did not come on until later in the season, dropped a few 30 bombs in the Big Ten there. So I think he's going to be a nice piece to this New Orleans Pelicans team, and he can play the point guard spot. Or maybe, the Pelicans decide to trade back. This is another team that could use some more assets to get some more young pieces. But I'm going to have Jalen Hood-Schifino here go to the New Orleans Pelicans. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's mock draft. If you think this is absolutely horrible, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you would change. I've had a couple of those comments on the latest mock draft videos, but this is what I'm going with right here. Obviously, the NBA is changing. You're going to need as many long and athletic wings as you possibly can get, and that's really what we're looking at here. The only guys under 6'5" are Scoot Henderson and Kason Wallace, and that's because, Scoot's a great combo guard, and then Kason Wallace can really defend, can facilitate, and can score a little bit from that point guard spot, brings great toughness. So you got to be an elite defender if you're going to be a lottery pick under the height of 6'5", honestly, these days. So yeah, with all that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and with all that being said, of course, as always, hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching today's video.